Learning and leadership development, two of HR's top challenges, but are the systems that support them really undergoing a revolution? Welcome to Firing Line. I'm Bill Kutik. With me today is Josh Bersin, principal of Bersin by Deloitte, part of the world's largest professional services firm. Though it pains me personally to admit it, Josh has become the world's most popular researcher, analyst, and commentator about HR technology. Because of his industry experience, we're going to feature him in Firing Line's first two-part series, with the second program airing in late June. Hello, Josh.
Hi, Bill. Thank you for inviting me.
Josh, you are the undisputed world leader and champion in learning and in learning management systems, the so-called LMS. Bring us up to date on the revolution that's going on there and what you see coming down the road.
Learning has become the number 3 issue in corporate HR. It was the number 8th issue last year. There's essentially consumerization of learning that's happened, with learning available on the public internet from universities and content providers and video providers all over the place, almost for free. And that's because people desperately want to improve their skills to improve their earning from their learning. But corporations are behind. Corporations, of course, have older technology, much more complex programs, and generally what's happening now is young people are entering corporations and finding that the learning experience inside the company is not nearly as nice as the learning experience is on YouTube or external providers, and that's created a huge amount of stress on internal learning organizations.
And isn't video playing an outsized part in this new reimagined learning system?
Video, which used to be kind of an expensive, difficult to do part of the learning experience, is now ubiquitous. People expect videos to be informal. They expect them to be produced by subject matter experts, not necessarily instructional designers. Topical, easy to find, just as quick to find as they might be on YouTube. And corporations have to get good at video, and many are, and many still are not there.
And they're allowing peer-to-peer, right? Somebody in one Carol or one Cubby making a video with his iPhone and putting it up on the corporate learning system.
Right. In fact, that's one of the most powerful things companies can do is really tap into the expertise of subject matter experts. So an example of that is a telecommunications company where the service reps would go out, call on a client, open the box, look at a piece of equipment and say, I don't even know what this is. I haven't seen it. It's old. Sure enough, there's another service rep that just fixed that in another state. That rep now can videotape his or her experience with that piece of equipment, and the second person can go find it and quickly learn what they need to know. So there's examples like that all over the place.
Well, that's learning that leads to dollars. That's quite amazing. So let's move on to leadership development. And one of the systems that has for so long and so badly supported it, namely performance management, performance review. What's happening there?
So there's essentially a whole reinvention of performance management going on in business, starting at the top, the CEO level down, saying, why are we spending 1 million hours a year on annual appraisals and not seeing that much benefit out of it? Our research shows that fewer than 15% of organizations believe that the time they spend on performance management today is worth the time they're spending on it.
And they're getting rid of rankings, and how does that work out? I mean, how do they
well,
do their jobs?
You would think that people are very worried about getting rid of ratings and rankings, but what we're finding in virtually every company I talk to is it always has a good result. Because managers and peers tend to know who the high performers are, and we don't have to generally give them numbers. And the most important thing that happens in performance management is really feedback and coaching and developmental planning, and this gives people more time to do that. And the problem with the rating is it immediately makes the employee defensive. It creates an adversarial relationship between the manager and the employee, which we don't want to have, and it actually reduces job performance.
And one good example is Adobe. What happened there briefly?
Well, Adobe is a great example. High-tech company, competes for talent with some of the best brands in Silicon Valley, had turnover issues, losing top engineers, difficult to get people to come to Adobe from other high-brand vendors, and they found that their performance management process, which was basically a traditional process, was creating an environment where line managers, many of whom are engineers, were not talking to their people regularly. They were just doing the end-of-year process. They computed they were spending nearly 1 million hours a year on the process, which they also concluded they could have spent on buying another software company. So they re-engineered it, simplified it, created a process for more rapid feedback, and the retention rate has gone up by 30% at Adobe, and they've had tremendous positive impact as a result.
Well, that's the best argument for getting rid of ratings I've ever heard. 30% increase in retention rate.
Right.
That's really wonderful. As always, Josh, you are totally on top of the challenges facing HR and some of the solutions that they can expect. Thanks for stopping by today and sharing it with us.
Thank you, Bill.
Please join us at the end of June for part 2 of our talk with Josh Bersin on Firing Line. Subscribe now on YouTube so you won't miss his insights on low employee engagement. Yes, the first word out of every HR executive's mouth these days, and Josh may have some possible solutions for us. Thank you for watching. I'm Bill Kutik.